Hello everyone and welcome to my B&B trending news. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and this gives this video a thumbs up. In Finn's office, he asks Poppy to be honest with him. Is Luna my daughter? Poppy doesn't want to go down this road, but Finn thinks they must. Were there other guys at the time they were close, or was it just him? Poppy asks him to stop asking questions, but he won't let it go. Could it be someone else who fathered Luna? Poppy claims there were others because she was young and single and she was with him only once. Finn has a right to know. He deserves the truth. You need to tell me if I am Luna's father. At Bill's residence, Luna marvels at him having a media empire and a magnificent acreage. He feels she's better off serving her time there. Luna's sure she would have died if he hadn't rescued her. You really are the dad I wish I'd had. Bill put himself in her position. He saw his younger self in her. Luna says they're much alike because to their dysfunctional, unstable mothers. She begs Bill to let his anguish and suffering out. He's heard her go on about her mother, and he went through the same thing. Bill shrugs. He got over it. Luna wishes he'd open out to her a little more. Bill finds it amazing how similar their childhoods were. Luna thinks she can help. More. Life in photos. Darren Brooks' daughter Gemma at Forrester, Hope kisses Carter, and they flirt and canoodle. She tells him so much of her life has altered because of him. Her world was coming apart and he helped her patch it back together again. Carter reminds her they're a team. They take care of each other. Hope marvels that she's back in the building. Her line is back. Her mother is CEO, and she doesn't have to answer to Steffy anymore. Carter recalls that she saw the importance in his vision from the outset. She found it motivating. The others made a mistake not taking him seriously. Carter laments growing the firm without his best friend. Hope recaps that they wanted to play it safe. She is proud to be a part of his adventure. They must be doing something right if Daphne Rose is intrigued. She has a sense the scent line will have a bigger influence than they know. Carter Hope. B&B at the Cliff home. Steffy thanks Daphne for meeting her. Daphne for. They go over that Carter and Hope can't know they're friends. Steffy admires the smell she's wearing and Daphne is sure Carter will adore it too. Steffy knows he's a sucker for an attractive woman. Daphne is doing this for her and her family. Ridge appears and asks, "So what's going on?" Steffy says Daphne's going to head over to Forrester. Ridge appreciates her commitment but thinks the less he knows about the plan the better. Daphne ensures it will be a successful operation. Steffy nods. Operation Carter Walton. More. Steffy's scheme could jeopardize Taylor's future. Forrester. Hope admits she's never encountered a woman exactly like Daphne. She likes everything about her. Carter thinks she's a fantastic fit for them. Hope has admired her from afar and can't imagine she'll get to collaborate with her. Pinch me. Carter can do better than that. He kisses her. Hope says, "Is this a dream?" She keeps fangirling over Daphne Rose. Carter tells her she has the same influence on people. Hope believes even he must find Daphne captivating. How could you not? Carter Hope B&B at the Cliff home. Ridge asserts that if anybody can get the firm back, it's Steffy. He instructs her and Daphne not to breach any laws and keep everything clean. Steffy says if they fall low, so will they. Ridge doesn't think it goes any lower than stealing a company from your friend. Daphne announces she has to go. Carter's waiting. After Daphne's gone, Steffy informs Ridge that she's their way to getting the company back. She's seen her in action. They go over her being one of the most desirable ladies in France. Steffy's sure Carter will be unable to resist her. Then Hope's heart will be broken, and their plot will crumble to pieces. More. Only guy. Who would date Luna at Bill's apartment. Luna tells him she has no way to thank him other than being a friend. Let me help you, Bill. She assures nothing will shock her. Bill says it's interesting. When he first saw her mother, he believed there was goodness, but he also sensed something was amiss. That wrong part was the similarity she shared with my mother. Bill says she was practically a carbon duplicate of his mother. Luna assumes he means a lady who can't be trusted, a chronic liar. Bill, Luna, B&B at Forrester, Carter, and Hope scent the air when they realize Daphne is in the building. Daphne enters the office and Hope tells her the perfume is intoxicating. She responds, "You have no idea." More. Biggest mystery surrounding Luna. In Finn's office, he asked Poppy whether she's been keeping something from him all these years. She said she cared about him and still does. It stings to have him accusing her. Finn only wants answers, and it's a legitimate question. He needs to know the truth. Finn wonders if she felt Tom Star was Luna's father. Poppy doesn't want to have this conversation. Finn doesn't either. Poppy adds, "Then drop it." He can't. She turns away, and he implores her to look at him. "Aren't you curious? Don't you want to have an answer and put an end to all of this?" Poppy sniffs. "You have no idea." Finn can't believe she wants to bury her head in the sand. He can't do that. There's too much at stake. Poppy screams that Luna's in prison and her life is over. She tried to raise a decent girl, but it was so hard. What's the point? Finn wants to know. He's had his suspicions, but he needs to hear it again. Poppy tells him he is not Luna's father. In Finn's office, the air was thick with tension. Finn leaned forward, his elbows resting on his desk, his gaze piercing through Poppy like a beam of light through fog. "Poppy," he said firmly, "this isn't just about me. It's about Luna. If there's any chance I'm her father, I need to know. She deserves to know." Poppy's lips trembled and she wrapped her arms around herself as if warding off a chill. "Finn, please, I don't want to dredge up the past. It's been so long. Can't we just leave it?" "No, we can't," Finn said, his voice firm but not unkind. "You keep telling me to let it go, but how can I? How can I move on knowing there's even a sliver of a possibility that Luna might be mine?" Poppy's eyes brimmed with tears. She turned away, gazing out the window as though the cityscape beyond could provide an escape. "I was young," she said softly. "I made mistakes. I was with you, yes, but there were others. I wasn't looking for anything serious back then. I didn't think about consequences." Finn's jaw tightened. "Who else, Poppy? Who else could be her father?" She hesitated, then whispered, "Tom Star." The name hung in the air like a specter. Finn frowned. "Tom Star? The guy who skipped town right after we graduated?" Poppy nodded. "He didn't know. I didn't tell him. And by the time I found out I was pregnant, he was long gone." Finn ran a hand through his hair, frustration etched into every line of his face. "Poppy, this isn't just about you. Luna's in prison, for God's sake. Her life is falling apart. And if I'm her father, I need to step up. I need to be there for her." Poppy's shoulders shook as she began to cry. "I tried, Finn. I tried to raise her right. I did everything I could, but it was never enough. She was so angry all the time, so lost. And now look at her. She's behind bars and it's all my fault." Finn's heart softened at the sight of her tears, but his resolve didn't waver. "Poppy, this isn't about blame. It's about doing what's right. If there's even a chance that Luna is mine, we owe it to her to find out. She needs to know where she comes from. Maybe it could help her." Poppy wiped her eyes and turned back to him. Do you really think it would change anything? She's in prison, Finn. Knowing who her father is won't set her free. Maybe not, Finn admitted. But it might give her some clarity, some sense of identity. Don't you think she deserves that? Poppy sighed deeply, the weight of years of secrets pressing down on her. Finally, she nodded. Okay, you want to know the truth? Fine. I'll do a paternity test. But don't blame me if the answers don't fix anything. Finn's shoulders relaxed slightly. It wasn't the resolution he'd hoped for, but it was a step forward. Thank you, Poppy. That's all I'm asking for. At Bill's sprawling estate, Luna stood on the balcony, staring out at the vast acreage that seemed to stretch on forever. The late afternoon sun bathed the landscape in a golden glow, but Luna's thoughts were far from serene. You really live like this? She asked, turning to face Bill, who leaned casually against the doorframe. He shrugged. It's home. Luna shook her head in amazement. I've never seen anything like it. It's incredible. You've built an empire, Bill, and now you're giving me a chance to get my life together. I don't know how to thank you, Bill. Stepped closer, his expression softening. You don't need to thank me. I see a lot of myself in you, Luna. I know what it's like to come from nothing, to have a mother who, well, let's just say she wasn't exactly a role model. Luna's eyes widened. You too? He nodded. She was manipulative, unstable. She made my childhood a living hell. But I got through it. And so will you. Luna's voice softened. I wish you'd talk about it more. I feel like it could help. Bill's expression hardened slightly. Talking about it won't change the past. I've moved on. But have you really? Luna pressed. You're always so closed off, so guarded. Maybe if you let someone in, it wouldn't hurt so much. Bill's gaze met hers, and for a moment he seemed to consider her words. But then he shook his head. I appreciate what you're trying to do, Luna. But some wounds are better left alone. Luna sighed, disappointed but not surprised. Okay. But if you ever want to talk, I'm here. Bill gave her a small, almost imperceptible smile. I'll keep that in mind. At Forrester Creations, the energy in the building was electric. Hope and Carter stood side by side in the design studio, their heads bent over a collection of sketches. This is it, Hope said, her voice filled with excitement. This is the vision we've been chasing. It's all coming together. Carter grinned. I couldn't have done it without you. You saw something in me that no one else did. Hope placed a hand on his arm. We're a team, Carter. We build each other up. That's what makes this work. Their moment was interrupted by the sound of heels clicking against the polished floor. They turned to see Daphne Rose entering the room, her presence commanding attention. Hope, Daphne said, with a warm smile. Carter, it's a pleasure to finally meet you both. Hope's eyes lit up. Daphne, I've been such a fan of your work. It's an honor to have you here. Daphne extended a hand. The honor is mine. I've heard incredible things about this place, and I'm thrilled to be part of what you're building. As they exchanged pleasantries, Carter couldn't help but notice the way Daphne carried herself with an effortless grace. He caught Hope's eye and gave her a reassuring smile. Whatever challenges lay ahead, he was confident they could face them together. At the cliffside home, Steffi and Ridge watched Daphne's car disappear down the winding road. You're sure about this? Ridge asked, his tone skeptical. Steffi nodded. Daphne's the key to bringing the company back under our control. Carter won't see it coming. Ridge sighed. Just be careful, Steffi. This kind of game has a way of backfiring. Steffi's eyes gleamed with determination. Don't worry, Dad. I've got everything under control. Poppy's face pales as Finn's question hangs heavily in the air. She looks at him, a mix of guilt and hesitation clouding her expression. Finn stands rigid, his fists clenching and unclenching at his sides. Finn, Poppy starts but falters. She glances at the door, as if contemplating an escape. Don't you dare, Finn says, his voice low and strained. Don't run, not this time. Poppy sighs, her shoulders slumping as if the weight of years of secrets is pressing down on her. It wasn't supposed to be like this. I never wanted you to find out like this. Finn's voice rises. Find out what, Poppy? That you've been lying to everyone for decades, that Luna's whole life, my life, has been shaped by your lies? He shakes his head, his voice breaking. Is she mine? Poppy's eyes fill with tears, but she doesn't answer. Instead, she walks to the window, her back to Finn. You were so young, Finn, we both were. I wasn't thinking straight, and when I found out I was pregnant, I panicked. I thought I was protecting everyone by leaving. Finn's jaw tightens. Protecting who? Yourself? Me? Or Luna? Poppy turns to face him, her voice trembling. All of you. I didn't know how to handle it. I didn't want to ruin your life, Finn. You had so much ahead of you, and Luna, she deserved better than what I could give her. Finn's eyes narrow. Better? You dragged her across the country in and out of chaos. She grew up with nothing but questions and resentment. And now she's sitting in Bill Spencer's apartment with an ankle monitor on because she tried to destroy my family. Tell me, Poppy, how was any of that better? Poppy flinches as if struck. I made mistakes, I know that, but I loved her. I did the best I could. Finn steps closer, his voice low but intense. Did you love her enough to tell her the truth? Because if she is my daughter, she deserves to know. I deserve to know. Poppy looks at him, her tears spilling over. Yes, she whispers. Yes, Finn. You're her father. Finn's world tilts. He stumbles back, gripping the edge of his desk for support. He feels like the air has been sucked out of the room. You're lying, he says, shaking his head. This can't be true. Poppy steps toward him, her voice urgent. I'm not lying, Finn. I've never been more honest in my life. I wanted to tell you back then, but I was scared. And then time passed, and it felt like it was too late. I didn't know how to come back from it. Finn collapses into his chair, his head in his hands. She's my daughter, he mutters, more to himself than to Poppy. All this time, and I didn't know. Poppy kneels in front of him, her voice pleading. I'm so sorry, Finn. I know I can't undo the past, but I'm telling you now because you deserve to know. She deserves to know. His head, his expression hardening. You're damn right she does, but how do I even begin to fix this? She hates me. She blames me for everything that's gone wrong in her life. And now I find out I'm her father? He shakes his head. How do I tell her that without making things worse? At Bill's apartment, Luna sits on the couch, staring at the ankle monitor on her leg. Bill watches her from the kitchen, his arms crossed. You've been quiet, he says, breaking the silence. Luna shrugs. Just thinking. About what? She looks up at him, her eyes filled with frustration. About everything. My mom, my childhood, this stupid monitor, it's like, no matter what I do, I can't escape the mess she made of my life. Bill sits down across from her. You're not your mother, Luna. You're your own person. You don't have to carry her. Mistakes with you, Luna scoffs. That's easy for you to say. You had a family. You knew who you were. I don't even know who my father is. Bill hesitates, his expression unreadable. You're sure Tom isn't your father? Luna nods. Positive. I can feel it. and my mom's silence only makes it more obvious. She's hiding something, and I'm sick of it. Bill leans forward. What are you going to do about it? Luna's jaw tightens. I'm going to find out the truth. One way or another. At Il Giardino, Lee and Jack sit in awkward silence, their food untouched. Finally, Jack speaks. You were right to be angry with me, he says. I hurt you and I'll regret that for the rest of my life, but I never stopped loving you, Lee. And I never will. Lee looks down at her hands. Love isn't enough, Jack. Not when it's built on lies. Jack reaches across the table, covering her hand with his. Then let's rebuild it. No more lies, no more secrets, just us. Lee looks up at him, her eyes searching his. Do you really mean that? I do, Jack says. I want to make things right, for Finn, for Luna, for all of us. Lee nods slowly, a glimmer of hope in her eyes. Maybe it's not too late after all. Back at Finn's office. Finn stares at the photo of Luna on his phone, his mind racing. He thinks about all the moments he missed. Her first steps, her first words, her first heartbreak. And now she's a grown woman, with a lifetime of pain and anger. I need to see her, he says, standing abruptly. Poppy looks up at him, alarmed. Finn, wait. She's not ready for this. You can't just... I don't care, Finn snaps. She deserves to know the truth, and I'm not going to let her spend another day wondering who her father is. Without another word, he grabs his coat and storms out, leaving Poppy alone in the office, tears streaming down her face. This extended version deepens the emotional stakes and sets the stage for even more drama as Finn, Luna, and Poppy grapple with the truth and its consequences. Own. Finn feels that not knowing who her father was certainly had an influence on Luna. It may have taken her down the road of killing two men. His wife was kidnapped and could have been killed. Poppy knows and is genuinely sad that Luna targeted Steffi. She tears. I can't even imagine how you're feeling about her. Finn tells Poppy that she needs to be honest with him. Did she conceal Tom's letters from Luna because she didn't want him to be her father, or because she knew he wasn't? Poppy wants to know why he's asking these questions. Finn levels. You know why, Poppy? At Il Giardino, Deacon serves Lee and Jack food and tells them he thinks Finn would be glad to see the two of them together. He walks off and Jack observes, he's not wrong. He's sure their son would like to see them get along. Lee smiles. We do have an amazing son. They agree that they'll never allow anyone take away his happiness. Jack tells Lee he's grateful for the blessing she sees in Finn. She tells him he's her kid in every sense of the word. Jack grabs her hand and addresses the grief she must have had over his affair and assuming he was Luna's father. Lee nods. At Bill's apartment, Luna tells him she takes full responsibility for her conduct. Bill claims she can still detest what led to her behavior. Luna thinks she deserves to know the truth. She feels it in her gut that Tom is not her father. After all these years, and I'm still searching for who my father really is. In Finn's office, he tells Poppy he demands answers. Back when you came to stay with us? Poppy snaps. That was a long time ago. Finn recounts that he got home one night and went out the window onto the roof to think. Someone else was there. Poppy recalls that they spoke till the sun came up and watched the fog lift like it was magic. She'd never been able to talk like that with anyone. Finn knew who she was, but she wasn't around a lot growing up. Poppy muses that she was gone as soon as she acquired her driver's license. She was a free spirit, but she wandered from town to town yearning for a connection, a place to belong. Most of the time I was just lonely. Finn thinks that's why she came to stay with them. How many hours did we spend on the roof? Poppy says, a lot. That location was theirs, to laugh, confide in one another, and adore. One night we couldn't help ourselves and we went into your room. Finn nods. You were my first, and it was an incredible connection. There was nothing improper with that. I'm adopted and was of age. In reflection, over the years, he's understood how wrong it was, but she altered his life. Poppy responds, You changed mine. Finn says that's his worry. What specifically did he accomplish to impact her life? Poppy reminds him they agreed not to speak of this. Finn has a dreadful sensation. When you told me you were pregnant, you swore it couldn't be mine, but then you were gone. Turning stern, Finn demands, You need to tell me the truth, if there is any chance at all, that Luna may be my daughter. You need to give it to me straight, Poppy. The truth. Am I Luna's father? Thanks for watching. If you likes this video, do not forget to subscribe to my channel, and do not miss any update.